Welcome to this week's episode of the B3 podcast. I'm your host, Brett. I got Matt GPT. I got Tanner the Head. And we have the GOAT. Ed
Certified
Coan.
and confirmed by GPT.
I'm the GOAT. Matt's the bloat.
True.
We have our show partners, Elite Nutrition. Check them out at Elite Nutrition Omaha. Go to their website, elitenutritionomaha.com. Use code B3 at checkout for 10% off. Go to the store in Omaha or Lincoln and yell B3.
Get a free shaker.
We also have Rosewood Block to make the best cutting boards and barbecue. Fully customizable. Check them out at rosewoodblock.com. Use code B3
Is
at
that
checkout
what
for 10%
this one is
off.
from?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they do really good work.
Good job, guys.
We also have Omaha Barbell, the real Midwest Mecca. Stop by for a great time.
Definitely.
No shakers.
No free shakers.
Get big and laugh.
Yeah.
For a small monthly fee.
For a small monthly. Try the drop in first. It's 50.
No, don't do the tip. Just go all in.
Yeah. It's the weekend of the Ed Coan Classic. It's the 6th year. The first ever. I think it's the first ever super meet.
I think so.
Because we're not doing at the same time. The events will be staggered.
Yeah,
for strongman and
it's
powerlifting.
intertwined in it.
Yeah.
So everybody can watch everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
What are the
Because whenever you go to meets like that, you always have to pick. Like the powerlifters are going, the strongmen are going, you know.
And it's still going to go fast.
Yeah.
Yep. We got the legend Dennis Henson still running the platform.
Nice.
I think if Dennis stopped doing it, we might have to stop doing the meet.
Definitely consideration.
Well, at least have him stuffed and stand up there behind the counter.
Up there
Yeah,
like
behind
an
everyone.
animatronic.
Zach filled in for him one time.
Zach's got the hair flip. I mean, he doesn't have any hair, but he's got like the motion of just like.
Yeah, and he had the
hair
voice
back.
down. He had it going pretty well. Zach pretty
He learned.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's going to be cool. We'll start out. Lifting starts at 9. First event will be strongman. We'll have the fingers.
Oh, we're doing the strongman first.
Strongman first.
Cool.
So let's get a little warm out. So we thought we'd get the outside
Yeah, it
events
is.
done.
I checked the weather.
So we'll do a strongman event. We'll do the fingers. We'll do our probably 2 flights of squatters. Then we'll do the Cohen's wheel
Nice.
outside also. Then we'll have our benchers. Then we'll clear the platform to the Hercules hold. That'll be inside in front of the flag. That'll look cool.
Hercules is cool for everyone.
Yeah. And then we'll have our deadlifters, and then we'll finish with the elephant bar deadlift for the strongman.
Very cool.
And it's the actual elephant bar from the first Arnold.
I think it's the first one they use it with the Arnolds, yeah.
Nice. I was a judge there for that.
You might have touched it.
I probably did. I was the head judge.
It's got a lot of DNA.
That's why I
on
got
it.
hurt.
Yeah, it's got a lot of stuff on it, I bet.
A lot of DNA.
The
It's all
the guy we got it from has so much cool stuff. We went down there, Al Myers down in Kansas. He's got it. He's got everything.
Dude, yeah.
It's,
Like there's just like, you just walk around, there's just like shit everywhere. You're like, what is that?
Does he build all the stuff?
he's built a lot of his own stuff, and then, but he's got all like the blobs, like the 100-pound blob and all that shit. Yeah.
I remember watching, GNC used to have all the Gillinghams there.
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching Wade Gillingham with the blob just go in and out of his legs and behind his back, and just it was unbelievable.
Have you ever played around with one of those?
Yeah.
Like, what's the biggest one?
I don't know.
Okay.
I never asked. I just pick it up.
Just pick it up.
Yeah, we went down to Al's and we all grabbed the 100-pound one, and then we're just like, well, that's not leaving the floor.
It has its own little dust ring around it. Like, it hasn't moved. Nobody moves that fucking thing. What did we get out here with the blob trainer? Is that 40?
Yeah, something like that.
Right? Is that what we got out here?
We got 40, yeah.
40.
Yeah, but yeah, Al just has everything. He has a bar I've been trying to get from him that was pretty confirmed that Alexiev used it in the Olympics. Or
You
to
know
train for the
what?
Olympics.
One of the world gyms in Columbus used to have the official one where he first did 500 pounds on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I tried to get it from him last year, and he wasn't ready to part with it yet.
True.
But he didn't say no forever.
He
didn't-
said not
no, he said
yet.
not yet.
Yeah.
So there's a chance.
Yep.
That would be a cool bar to have.
Yeah.
And Al's pretty good with that stuff about knowing where it came from, the lineage of all of it. But he's got all that shit down there. So yeah, the actual elephant bar.
And
Yep.
we're loading the bar from the outside.
Outside in, so we get a little more bend to it. So
Nice.
maybe they're not pulling 1,000, but they still get the cool bend.
For the crowd enjoyment.
Feels
Yeah.
way different.
For your pleasure.
Yes. And you'll be the judge on that.
Harsh judge.
Yeah.
The rules are the rules. You know, I judge along with some of the, good guys, Coach Joe Ken, Van Hatfield, Chad Coy, Mark Filippi's been a judge at the Shaw Classic, and Brian, whatever he says on the judging, he likes it really strict because, everything's on TV and people have to watch, and you don't want that shit coming back at you.
Yeah.
and it's his name on the line. And Brian gives us full authority to judge no matter what happens. Like last year when they had the squat and there was a big controversy on the squat and on the deadlift stuff, everyone would want to protest, and they're like, who do you protest to? Well, Mark Filippi and me, we're the ones who were the head judges. And then Brian would walk over and goes, what's the problem? And they'd say, well, we want to protest this. And Brian would look at him and say, well, those are the two judges. Go ahead. And he'd walk away. We had full authority, and he trusted us that much. It was really, really cool.
Yeah.
How is the Shot Classic? It looks pretty. I know you've been to all of them, haven't you?
No, not all of them. I wasn't at one of them.
Okay.
It's the most amazing show you could ever go to. It's a huge like basketball stadium that's completely filled. When I blow the whistle on some events to start, you can't hear the whistle. That's how loud it is.
Wow.
And it's, I mean, you're walking around next to Thor, and Brian, so I'm, a Lilliputian. I just got to worry about not getting stepped on.
Okay, guys, hey.
Yeah, but I'm the boss. It's unbelievable. He has an amateur day that has like 200 and some amateurs. Then he has a regular pro day of pros that are trying to get to be in the strongest man on earth at the Shaw Classic.
Now, is he trying to compete with Worlds? Is he trying to take?
He's trying to
Worlds?
take it over.
No, he's just doing an unbelievable job at running his meet. If that so be it, it's it's the way it is because like in the deadlift, the guys could wear straps. It was a regular bar, but they couldn't let the straps hang and be open like this at the end. They still had to be touching. And there was a issue with Evan Singleton where he was worn twice. And at his last deadlift, which was his best deadlift ever, his hands were this open. And Mark's in front. I'm on the back side watching the hands. And the crowd, 10,000 people go crazy. And Evan's going crazy like he does. And I look at Mark and I just went like that. No good. And all of a sudden, 10,000 people are yelling at me, screaming at me and stuff. That's the way the rules are.
Right. That's the
Man,
Evan, as pissed off as he was, he ended up accepting it because that's just the rules.
Well, because they'd use the figure 8 straps.
No, you weren't allowed to.
Oh, they weren't. Well, a lot of times
No.
they'll use the figure 8 straps and then just touch the
they
fingertip.
got an extra 4 inches where
Yeah.
they don't have to,
Yeah.
if only your wife had that.
Oh, she would love it.
Yeah.
But
Gorgeous
someone like Lucas Hatton, who was coming on like a firestorm, is strong as shit. I saw him do one of those standing behind the neck presses with 600 pounds just recently.
Is that the kid that? Yeah, he posted.
Yeah, with the bald head, big kid, really big kid.
Red beard.
Yes.
Yeah.
And legs like crazy too, and everything about him is strong. But when he would grab the bar in the deadlift, his hand was barely touching already because he has really chubby hands, and so that was the most difficult for him. So let's see what they do this year.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like the strict rules because then everyone's on the same page. There's no leeway.
Now, can they still shelf and do all the other crazy shit, or does it have to be just a clean deadlift?
You can ramp it, but if you ramp it and stop and go to jerk it, you can't go back down and come back up. So it can't go back down and come up. It could stop, and then you could jerk it all the way up, but it can't go back down. Like on your legs. If you get a deadlift bar and you jerk it, the outside weights are going to bend down, but as long as it doesn't go on your legs, then it's okay.
Nice.
I do think it's funny that the only thing you can't do in strongman deadlifting is sumo.
Yeah.
like you can hitch, you can use straps, you can do all this shit.
I think everything has to do with everything that it would have to do with sumo deadlift would just be the fact that they look like sumo, but I don't think anyone could actually do sumo because I think they're all too big.
Like a real
So,
sumo.
but what's funny is that if you pick up a bag or you pick up a stone or you lap a
sumo.
log, you're in sumo all the time. But
Right,
the
yeah.
only time you can't sumo is when you're deadlifting.
Now, is Brian doing like unique events every year, or is he doing?
They figure out something new, him and his team, and then they build stuff or whatever. Like last year, like the farmer's walk or whatever was like a hay baler. There was like 1 million pounds, and they had to pick it up and move that distance. Very, very cool. But yeah, they come up with the newest, coolest stuff all the time. That's why I think he rules in strongman right now. Him and his wife are like they were exhausted last year. They were exhausted, so they'll have a bigger team even with them this year. But yeah, they do an unbelievable job.
I've heard the event's amazing.
It is, but it's amazing not just because the venue or the events, but how they have everything set up to run is like, what a good businessman.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, and he's done so many.
Yeah,
Like,
he knows what's good and bad.
He knows what's good. And he's smart.
Yeah.
Like the guy's super
Very.
smart. Yeah.
Very.
Well, I think as soon as you start, and that was kind of when we started doing meets. When you look at what the athletes want, you'll make a way better meet instead of doing what you want.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a lot of crazy shit.
Nope. Then just strict rules. I mean, look at your judges in a powerlifting meet here. They're all really damn good, strict judges, but everyone appreciates that because no one gets a break.
Right. Yeah. If you give a fuck about the athletes, just like little stuff where we have both the TVs in the back so they can see if they're up and they can see who's lifting, so it doesn't have to crowd around everywhere.
Yeah, they appreciate that.
Yeah, it's just little stuff and care about them, and you'll get a good turnout and you'll have good lifters.
As an athlete, when you're backstage competing, you want to know where you are every step of the way. You want to look at how everything's being judged. You want to. It takes you out of your own little head.
Now you've obviously been around in the game for a while. Do you think Brian Shaw is one of the strongest humans?
Oh, definitely.
To live.
Definitely.
I mean,
I don't think he even capped his potential. But you get enough miles on you and you got to quit. That's what's wrong with me. I knew I couldn't get any stronger, so it wasn't going to be worth it to me. Wouldn't have been fun anymore. What, for a trophy? Ugh.
Hey, but you might need those for collateral. We were talking earlier. You might need those for collateral.
True. How many did Shaw win? 4, I think.
I believe so. I never keep track of any of that.
Yeah.
He's 4 because Pujanowski's 5.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I really want him to pass Pujanowski.
I wish.
Yeah. I think, and Stoltman might be able to. He just has too many weaknesses. He has a lot of really good strengths.
Yeah, but see, like when he goes to the Shaw Classic,
he finishes 5th.
Yeah, and that might be because the events aren't exactly set up for him to win.
So they will talk about that at World Strongman. No, they will talk about that at World Strongman. Like when Eddie won, it was set up for Eddie. When Thor won, it's set up. You know what I mean? But also, is it just one of those things that they fall the right way? I don't know, but I think they want someone to win. So, and that's
We'll
probably
talk about that later.
That's probably why Brian's event's going to be so good, is he doesn't care who wins.
No one's set up to win. I mean, Hooper's just fucking incredible.
But he's really good there.
Yes.
Right, but then who was the little Polish guy, the short Polish guy that he won just kind of out of nowhere, World Strongman?
Oh, is that the guy started with that Martina?
No, it's like with a Z. What the hell was his name? But then like the next year, I don't even know if he made finals. I don't even think he got out of his own heat.
Yeah, I think
Alexei
Novikov from Ukraine.
Okay, Ukraine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, like we were talking
I'm
earlier,
pretty close. Poland's right there.
I think if you have to, I think you have to have a good.
Novikovsky, we'll say.
I think you have to have a good mix, like we were talking earlier, of moving events and static events to make it an even playing field.
Yeah.
Because if you come in like with a bunch of static events, like where you have like an Eddie Hall, where he's a great deadlifter, he's a great presser, but he's probably not the fastest mover out there. Mm-hmm. He's going to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, more static events. He was a beast.
Yeah, you're like the beast.
There was nobody stronger at static events than him.
Did you just see him beat up on Pujanowski?
Yeah, we were talking about it.
He did that hip toss and threw him like a baby.
He went to like guillotine him. I was like, I can't get my arm underneath here. Just threw him.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, it can be very crafted towards a certain person. Mm-hmm. You know, and I still think the smartest thing Thor ever did was do a powerlifting meet. He did that powerlifting cycle.
Yeah,
and he came back way better.
The first time. When he did it the second time, I think he was too lean. That's why he popped his pec.
Yeah.
But I know his strength coach, Australian strength coach, is a really good guy, so he keeps a good tab on him.
Is Eddie going back now? Because he kind of got fat again, I thought. Is he going...
I don't know. Eddie can go from like roly-poly to like giant man with abs.
Yeah, wasn't he like just 150 kilos or so, which is 330?
Yeah.
But yeah, usually he's like, that's 150 kilos. Usually he's like 160, another 20-something pounds heavier.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he'll have abs all of a sudden. Then the next video, soon as like, dude, he's a bowling ball. I don't know.
The first year I did judge the Shaw Classic, he was there, and he's fucking big. Just standing there talking to him, he's fucking big.
And you know what's funny? He looks small standing next to Brian and those guys.
You have
Everybody
a one-on-one with Eddie,
small.
and you realize he's a really nice guy too.
Well, and
most of the guys are.
He seems
nice.
like a really good, genuine dude.
He is. He's a really nice guy.
Him and Shaw have I feel like Shaw's a little more buttoned up and Eddie's not, but they get along a lot. But
and then they always picked on Nick Best.
Oh yeah, did you see that where they stuck a plunger on his head like super glue?
Nick didn't care either. He just had fun. Yeah, they show him walk into the emergency room to get it taken off.
They did that.
That was real,
right?
Shaw and they did that
real.
one chip challenge. Did you see that? And they just sat there just sweating. And it's like, I'm never going to give. And Eddie just dumps his milk out.
Oh my gosh.
Right. But I think like even that shows like their competitiveness. Like they're like, listen,
Yeah.
I'm not going to lose. Like I will
You
take
saw
away.
when they both arm wrestled each other? They almost got in a fight and stuff,
Oh,
screaming
yeah.
at each other.
Yeah. They were at it. Nick Best was my judge all day during when I was at nationals one time for strongman, and he was literally helping you. Like he helped me. Like
Nick's been a really good friend of mine forever. To interject in this, to interrupt you,
That's fine.
He's one of the nicest human beings you'll ever meet.
So I go to do something with a sandbag. He goes, "Why are you doing it that way?" I said, "I don't know." He goes, "Do it this way." And like it was like as I'm getting ready for the event, you know, like I was like, "Oh, that's a lot better." He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "All right." And then someone there started arguing with him about something. I looked at him. I was like, "I would just shut up and listen."
Yeah, I would just do it.
I just shut up and listen. This is not time to interject.
He like when I've been around Nick, like I'll see him at the beginning of July. We both do a bunch of stuff in Norway at a big strength event, Fae4 Strength Week for a whole week long, strongman and Highland Games for people. It's invitation only. It's in the mountains. Everything is on the grounds there. And if you're around Nick and try to push him, you'll realize how big and strong and solid he is. It's like, oh shit, I'm in trouble.
And he's 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, he's a big dude.
He was lifting like within a month after he had a kidney taken out. He was benching and the bar slipped out of his hands and hit him like in the lower sternum. And his wife at the time was a emergency room nurse or whatever she does, Callie. And she said, "No, you're going to go to the emergency room and have this checked out," because he was having some pain and they found out that he had a bad kidney. And they removed it. I saw him like lifting within a month. It's like, holy shit.
He also tore something really bad. What did he tear?
His lat.
He tore his lat.
He had a big surgery on that.
And then he starts his road back. It's like super light, but within like 2 weeks, he's like lifting double weight.
Let me see if
You know what I mean?
I'll look up a picture.
He's like, I'm going to start light, and then 2 weeks later, he's just like maxing out.
Oh, dude,
I'll
that's
try to
gotta,
find a picture.
like, does a lat? Because most of the time, like these muscles tear, like they tear the tendon, but like I feel like a lat just tears in half.
Yeah. I will find a picture.
I can't. Ugh.
Well, Nick, he's a arms instructor at the range in Vegas, a big place.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, and he was shooting a one of those giant frickin' guns, whatever. The bullets are like this long, and the thing exploded, and
Probably a Madus.
he almost frickin' died. And I got these pictures somewhere, and I don't know where they are, but I'll find them. Keep talking.
Yeah.
Well, Eddie was just doing that. He was shooting all those guns in the range, and they they had slow mo, and they were showing the like recoil of the gun like into his into his arm.
Oh, they were shooting like that 4-bore shotgun, right?
Oh yeah, they were shooting all kinds of
cartoon
shit.
gun?
And then they had like cameraman shoot one that the guy really quickly grabbed because he had no idea what was going next.
Yeah, so they're just large.
There's large human beings.
So who was that we saw? Oberst. Just wandering around that.
Yeah, and he had that
CVS.
little dude that he made him carry all of his shit.
Yeah.
We saw him in Florida. But
I met him at the first time at the show. Super nice.
Yeah, he
Can
seems
talk
like
to
a really
anyone.
good
He
dude.
he
Yeah.
gave a little talk there at next door at the expo. He gave a little talk. He's great. He could speak like crazy.
we met Savickas the one year. Savickas is a large human.
Always with a smile on his face.
He was lost at the hotel in the convention center in Ohio.
We did something at the Arnold one time where I was sitting next to him, right around the strongman stage, and we both put up our hands, and they're the same size.
No shit.
Yeah.
Talk about a guy who's a massive presser.
Wow.
no
He wouldn't even do a jerk press or anything. He would just lean back a little bit and press it
And
up.
then every time it was like breaking his own world record.
Yeah. Well, I think Big Z has 3 or 4. Shaw has 4. Stolman has 3, and then
Does he have
Pujanowski
3
has
or
5.
only 2? I thought Stoltman only
I
had
think he has 3.
One of my favorite things, like we were watching
He might only have 2.
when they were showing one of the videos we have at the gym. It's from that they're doing. They're following him at the Arnold that year, the strongman event. And one thing I always love about all the old strongman events, because it was always the foreign dudes. And after the announcer, "Oh my God, this is so great! You just won the strongest man. How do you feel?" "Very good."
Yeah, he would just sit there and smile.
There's like no excitement. "Very good. I lift good."
Super nice. Super nice.
He's probably just like, "My family would not be executed.
Yeah.
I lift good."
Z has 4. Shaw has 4. Magnuson has 4, and Paul Sigmarsson has 4.
John Paul Sigmarsson, he died.
Pujanowski has 5, right?
Didn't John
Pujanowski
Paul
has 5.
die deadlifting?
No, well, his whole family had a history of
Heart issues.
heart issues and blockages and stuff like that. So he had just had like 2 different bicep surgeries, and he was deadlifting in the gym, and I guess he just passed from there.
So,
But wasn't he also the one that's like while he was doing a deadlift, he's the one that yelled out like, "If you can't deadlift, why are you alive?" Essentially.
Yeah, that's a famous quote.
Yeah.
There's no use to being alive if you can't do the deadlift.
Yeah.
One of my
doesn't
friends
Thor have
from,
that tattooed on his leg or something like that?
somebody
Shin,
did.
yeah.
One of my friends from England had a good John Paul story. Is John Paul was on a plane and flying up in first class on the way to a big event, and he was sitting next to some rich businessman who kept bragging about what he had, and he asked John Paul what he did, and John Paul told him, he didn't care about anything. He told him what he did for a living, and the guy was like not very impressed. And then when John Paul got up, he looked at the guy and says, "I know you make a lot of money, but how much do you deadlift?"
Fuck yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, being strong is way better than being rich.
And it's super fun.
Nothing wrong with being strong.
And being
said
both
that?
is even
You can be both.
It depends on who you ask.
Yeah. Sure. Someone
Shit, do you want to have Matt ask ChatGPT who said it?
I can. What, you guys want me to?
Matt
I
and
can't
Chad.
find the picture, but the picture he's got pins put in his fingers because the thing blew up. It shows the casing where it hit him in the chest, where a big hole and a dent in there, and he's in the hospital. Like, almost fucking died.
Lucky he's so fucking big, or he would have died.
Yeah, I think
He has
anyone
a-
else would have been dead.
He has a massive back. When I
He's
was
a big
standing
boy.
next to him, like his fucking back
Yeah.
and arms are just
He's solid,
fucking huge.
He used to train a little bit with Frank Mir for 6 months. He used to roll around with Frank Mir. I just saw him on Mir's podcast.
Yeah, I don't know how you would end up rolling with someone that big and strong. Just like Eddie.
Well-
Eddie has he has very little like technical fighting ability, but just like how he tossed around another 200 and what was Pujanowski, 250?
Probably, yeah.
He just tossed him. Just tossed him. Like you can't teach that.
But on the ground, like Nick said, that Frank is so good, and he's a big dude too.
Yeah.
That he
Frank
would
Mir is
just
big.
kind of play with him and lead him to where he wanted, and show him for Nick's body
Yeah.
type what he could get away with and what he could do and how to make him
Yeah.
better. So
Well,
that's how good you are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was
it's
like
like
that-
It's like chess versus checkers.
Yeah.
Remember there was a video with Gordon jiu-jitsu with
Shaw.
Thor.
Oh
Yeah,
it was
with
Thor
Thor and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was rolling around. I mean, in a jiu-jitsu match, Gordon's going to beat him because like you can't punch. But as soon as like a street thing, like sure,
Gets
Gordon's going
dangerous.
to win that. But that gets real dangerous when you get that close to someone
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
Like I think like Bradley Martin had Diaz on, and Diaz and he asked Diaz, hey, who would win in a street fight, you and me? He's like laughing at him and says, "Dude, you're a podcaster.
Yeah.
Of course I'm win. I'm gonna kill you."
He was offended.
Yeah,
Like,
and then he said, "Well, how would I do against one of those pro boxers or something? One of the little guys?" He goes, "Well, if it was just boxing, he'd beat you. But if you got a hold of him, he would be dead." But it was hilarious.
Yeah, when there's no rules, it definitely changes.
Yeah.
What do you think about powerlifting right now? What do you think the state of powerlifting is right now?
I think it's great. You know what I like the best? Those abs meets.
The abs meets.
You know the ones from the Irish guy.
No.
Did you see they just had that big meet over there? Hack went over to Ireland, and all these other guys competed.
Oh yeah, I saw with John Hack.
Yeah. He runs a really strict judged meet where if you make a lift there, it's good. And he ran one in Chicago, like a qualifying type thing. And he had everyone walk out their squats with no squat bar, no deadlift bar, and had everyone, the judging was super fucking strict. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, 'cause I feel like powerlifting goes through.
He owns a big gym over there called Abs, but I did a seminar for him many years ago, way back when, and he's a really good guy.
I feel like it kind of does the ups and downs. I think there was a real height of everybody competing a lot. I think competition numbers.
I would say the biggest problem I have is two things. I don't like them comparing people. Like my era, the rules are so much different than their era. I think it's unfair to both for them to have to live up to the expectations of the strictness and what we didn't have as far as rules and stuff, and for them not to be appreciated for what they do now. So I think that's like a catch-22, that they get more fucked. I don't agree with like that the crazy kabuki deadlift bar. I don't think it's any good. I think anyone that very few guys that have lifted huge weights, sumo, have ever even completely locked out according to the real rules. You have to be standing erect with your shoulders back and locked, and everyone is
they're kind
with the hook grip is just hanging forward, and it's not a real deadlift. I'm sorry.
But I mean, I think it's fair to compare to you guys because the rules should still be the same.
Well, it's only if you compare them and saying this guy is better. But the rules were so much different that the comparison really doesn't hold.
Like they're similar comparisons.
Because take away a 24-hour weigh and use a stiff bar, and sometimes, like when I pulled 901, I had to be drug tested, and I passed.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think when you're trying to compare numbers like that, it's different because then you try to say, okay, how much weight is a 24-hour weigh-in worth?
Yeah.
Right. How much?
It can be. You can gain. Some guys have gained as much as 30 pounds.
Yeah. So that's why when you're looking at numbers, like if someone pulled, I don't know, say someone 220 pulls 930, right? Does that extra 29 pounds? Is that what you gain from a 24-hour weigh-in?
Well, plus that with the bar,
right? And you get the bar.
Yeah, with those bars, the more weight you lift, the more it helps you. It doesn't help a little guy as much.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't get the whip out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you get the advantage of the grip because it's a thinner bar.
Yeah, I mean, you can compare total weights, but there's something to be said that there was just under different circumstances and like quantifying what that's worth.
Yeah, and it does take a little bit of credit that the guys do now with lifting really big weight, which it shouldn't. I mean, Hack, didn't he bench like 595 in a meet before?
Oh, John Heck's so fucking strong though.
Yeah, he's strong as shit.
Yeah.
But,
so, you can't get away from the same bar. He still benched 595 in a freaking meet.
I just don't like comparing like eras because like shit changes and like someone like you sets the bar, right? There's only so many people who can set a bar. A lot of people chase it, but like once their number's there, then someone else has something to go after.
I think Pacifico did, then Bridges did, then I followed Bridges.
Yeah, but there's not a lot of bar setters, right?
No.
They're those don't come along like very often.
Well, especially now, I feel like it's like the. I think Louis had said it one time. Those who burn the brightest burn out the fastest.
It has a tendency.
You know what I mean? You see those guys who pop up, which John Hack has been around for. Because didn't he compete USAPL?
Yeah, he did.
He's been around for a while.
He competed in the IPF Worlds and won.
And see some of these guys, and the other thing is, I think a lot of guys now cherry pick a lot of meets.
Sure, they do.
You know, like when you guys
it's
competed,
kind of set up for them too.
When you guys competed, you had like the national, like the YMCA nationals.
Yeah, but mostly I was just nationals and worlds. You had to
but
win
everybody
the
came.
nationals.
You didn't go to like. You didn't go to, I'm going to do the other nationals where it's got people I know I can beat, or I'm going to do the fucking whatever.
No, it was like the USPA, USPF, and ADFPA was about it. Yeah. And before the ADFPA, it was just one federation.
So everybody, all the greats at the time competed against all the other greats. You didn't just like cherry pick.
Yeah, if you went to the YMCA nationals, you had everyone from the nationals there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you see that like even in bodybuilding, they'll go to a show where like they have to give out so many pro cards. You know, well, they'll be like
their pro.
Yeah, they'll be like
they made more divisions so there could be more pros. Like back in the day, a lot of these pros now wouldn't even win the regular nationals or the USAs.
Yeah, and that's why I don't want to dog him, but I just think it was more of a not like you were more of a man, but just more like respect. Like you just went out and lifted. You just fucking competed. You didn't like get into like so and so is going to be there. So I mean, I've had people ask here before, hey, who's going to be on the roster? You know, is so and so lifting? What's it matter?
You didn't care. Just go and have fun and do your shit.
I wonder if like the high caliber lifters now, if they're still doing that, or if they like the high caliber lifters now are just.
But they separate. They separate in their own federations. They don't cross over like boxing. You never get your greatest boxing match.
Yeah.
Because they're in two different areas.
Well, you get people pay so much to be in so many different. Like I'm going to do, you know, open full meet. I'm going to do masters bench only, and I'm like, all that money you just paid me, you could have just went and bought trophies.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't make a difference. You know what I mean? Like, just go out there and compete against yourself. And if you happen to fucking make it in, do your best. And if you make it in the top,
That's all I ever did.
top 10, top 5, it's great.
I think it's hilarious when people ask like who's going to be there. Who what the fuck does it matter? Like, are you dodging somebody?
But that's what
like
people
quit
are.
dodging
Just
people.
trophy, bro.
Trophy hunting, yeah. What's
Right?
stupidest
Yeah.
thing
Like Brett
ever.
said, you can go down to Trophy USA and buy your own.
Yeah, you can get you can buy those Ivanko fucking medals anywhere you want to. So it's it's kind of, I don't know. The era is different, and meets used to be a lot of fun. Ours is really fun, but a lot of meets I've been to are not fun.
They're boring.
Yeah, like whatever people want to say about multiply lifting, high squat, those fucking meets were a great time.
Very entertaining.
and people might have gotten a fight. There could have been a fight.
That's even better.
Yeah, and then you go there in the Russians,
By
and
the
you're drinking
way,
vodka and
tomorrow,
smoking.
Matt and I are going to get in a
Someone
fight.
fight. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
With each other or with someone else?
yes.
Okay.
Both.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And it was
It'll
like,
be over food.
Totally.
Oh, he doesn't know about all the desserts that are going to be here tomorrow either.
oh yeah, his wife's bringing
No, that's what we're
sourdoughs and
fighting
desserts and everything to sell.
That's She's only bringing one of something, I'm sure, and we'll fight over that.
We will.
Actually, I'll just tell Nicole to put one out.
Put one
like
out?
in between you two. She'll have like
Yeah.
a dozen more.
We need to think of a different.
Yeah, on your mark, get set, get it.
Yeah, we need to think of a clever name like bum fights, but different. Where they used to give them like the sandwiches, but a better name.
It would be like food fights, but like in quotes.
Yeah, we'll call it broken down fights
Yes,
because they both have been
Oh,
broken.
it's so sad.
but entertaining.
Entertaining.
Yeah, for at least the first 10 seconds before someone's winded,
Yes.
Oh, that'll be me. Yeah, I'll be out.
and then the next 5 minutes will be figuring out how to get up off the floor.
Also me.
Also you, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, and I think powerlifting will, like I said, I think it goes in cycles. It'll kind of come back around, but
I don't mind it now. Some meets, I don't like some of the judges. I see some people lifting, and I saw a couple meets where the guys actually like this high squatting and they're celebrating and giving them a white light, and it's like, what the fuck?
Do you guys think powerlifting is a star? Like strongman has a star. They have stars, right? Like Eddie Hall, Thor,
it just
Shaw.
doesn't, in my opinion, and yours might be different, I just think that it doesn't get the. It's powerlifting or strongman's such a really actually a small obscure sport, but it gets such like TV.
Well, everyone knows what a squat and bench and deadlift is now.
Yeah.
Because so many sports.
but it's so televised.
Use
Like
those
the World's Strongest
exercises.
Man's been televised forever, so people like have an idea where powerlifting was like kind of on TV a couple times,
Yeah.
It is.
but
I
not
think-
really. It
We
was
were on
like
ESPN once when I did it.
the
with Nick
Ocho.
Music. Yeah.
I think your reference to boxing is similar, right? Like you you can have some great standout stars, but like they might all be in these different federations, so it's tough for
Yeah,
everyone.
but
to know
Canelo, like you may
those
not
are.
know anyone else besides Canelo and Crawford, but you know at least know Canelo and Crawford.
Yeah, and I think people know lifters, so I guess
Yeah.
But it depends. Like your like if you're in a lot of like the IPF lifters are going to be big fans of like tested lifters. Now your untested lifters, they'll
Yeah.
act like they don't have the respect for them, like because there's some strong people out there. Like if you had an invitational, you're going to bring in like you want to have like John Hacklift, you want to have like Death Grip Derek, like
Yeah.
you want to have some of those. There's other people obviously that are
Does he
great out
even
there.
lift anymore? I haven't seen
He's
him in a
running
long
his
time.
gym. I keep seeing him posting that.
Yeah.
But guys like that who are going to come in and they're going to, because you know what people like to see. It's just like why World's Strongest Man. They're, they're pulling airplanes and not.
They want to see the freaks.
They're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
pulling volt. That's how multiply got so big.
Yeah.
Because you want to see a guy squat 1,100 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to see it. You want to see John Hack squat 800 or 900 pounds.
Yeah.
But like, how is like who, Jose Oliveras? Didn't he?
Yeah.
What he squat?
Jesus. Oh,
Jesus. Sorry.
But Jesus is also like 400
what,
pounds.
10, 50, 80 squatted?
Yeah.
Okay, so like, why is it? Why is he not a star?
I think.
I mean, that's
people-
freaky, right?
Do you think people
I
look at it
think-
and they're like,
I-
he's just
I-
a fat guy that's lifting?
No, I
He
think
doesn't look
that,
that
that has more of a problem to do with the IPF and how they run things, where they don't let the lifters be stars where they want to be the star.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like Brett said earlier, if you put your athlete first, you will be better.
Right.
Which the Sheffield is doing a pretty good job of.
Sheffield was
For
doing
that
it.
meet
Yeah.
only.
Yeah, but the Sheffield, they're getting bigger. They do like, they almost do like the UFC does, where they do like intro videos. and
It's
they're-
really good.
Yeah, so the Sheffield is actually
Because the Sheffield meet is SBD, and they have all the money to do whatever they
they
want.
pay big money and they care about the athletes. They're
Uh-huh.
gonna fly them over there. They're gonna, so
But strongman, I think you also have a world's strongest man. Like
No, you don't. You have the Arnold strongest. You have the world's strongest. You have the Shaw strongest. Like you have at least 3 premier.
okay, so 3 versus however many.
I
Different
don't even know what kind of
federations
feds are
and
around anymore.
different-
Some have collapsed in the last few years. I don't even know what's around anymore.
I don't pay attention enough.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you had 3 or 5, like premier or strongman competitions, like it's going to be the similar people competing in all 5.
The beauty about Strongman is they have Strongman Inc., which is the ones we all know, and then like what I competed in is like U.S. Strongman, and like U.S. Strongman is definitely like the pros and stuff. Like the amateurs are all about this, but like it's definitely a step down, right?
Yeah. Dion Wessels.
Yeah, but it's a really good place to get a lot of people involved, a lot of meets. That's what our meet is tomorrow. U.S. Strongman, like it's a really good way to do that, but they've like definitely found their own niche. But Strongman Inc. is World's Strongest Man, right? So like they just like everyone got in their lane, and like in powerlifting, it feels like everyone's driving in each other's fucking lane, at the detriment to the sport.
Yeah, because a lot of the ones, some of the federations are not non-for-profit; they are for-profit. So they'll do anything to get the lifters in there to make money of people getting in their federation.
Or they'll see which federations they'll try to have the most world records.
Yeah,
but if you make a star out of somebody, it brings more eyes. I mean,
here's the other thing too, I guess, is another point. Like we're talking about strongman. Like the rules are different, right? For strongman, for the most part, as long as you pick it up, however you get it up there, you're going to get it there, right? You know, to an extent. Well, powerlifting. Well, I'm not going to do. Like they might not do our meet because the judging's tight when they know they can go to another meet and squat 6 inches high.
Yeah.
So then you run into that problem because now I'm not going to think that guy's a star because he squats high as shit.
I think that's the reason why Multiply pretty much died out, because the judging got worse and worse and worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and the unequipped numbers got close.
Right. And it's I think for people to relate to someone in the squat suit, knees wrapped, like they're like, okay.
Well, yeah, you try to explain it to somebody, and like, well, what do you squat? We're
Yeah,
like,
what the hell does he got on?
yeah, big diaper.
Yeah.
Well, then it ended up being where, well, I just watched this. Why did he get that squat? He didn't go low enough. And that was uneducated people saying that.
Right.
Well, and then, you know, if you're a really good lifter, like, you know, let's keep referring to like John Hack. Why am I going to go into a meet that's going to let another guy squat 6 inches higher than me
Exactly.
and maybe get a higher total than me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I've always trained my whole life that I squat to here and I come back.
Yeah, he competed in the IPF.
Yeah, so
I think it was he won the worlds at 181, I believe it was.
powerlifting is its own worst enemy. The federations are their own worst enemy.
Well, boxing is the same way.
Yeah, you know, it's just and you know, like I remember when that one time I went to Westside and trained with Louis, and I said, "Do you ever think it'll be in the Olympics?" And he said, "If you want to see the weakest people in the world do powerlifting, it'll be in the Olympics." Because they're going to drug test.
Well,
You know what I mean?
think-
Like,
yeah, but I think the reason the IPF doesn't get in there is because they will lose a lot of their control.
Yep.
I believe the president of the IPF, the Gaston, just abruptly resigned for strange reasons. That
He wanted to spend more time with his family.
sure,
It's now a very high priority.
Whenever anyone says they want to spend more time with their family, they done fucked up.
yeah.
And then with those guys, it's probably sexual assault.
I don't know.
They let those guys. I think
I wouldn't even say. I would probably say it's closer to a Me Too movement, probably something like that.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing or, hypothesizing.
Big
That's
word.
a big word.
Triple word
That's-
score.
Stops you from getting sued.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Hypothetically speaking.
Yes.
yeah. That's. I think powerlifting's its own worst enemy. There's a lot of great lifters out there,
Oh God, yeah.
and they don't have a centralized world championships anymore.
No.
Like a real world championships.
Well, the IPF does, but they don't have as many lifters competing there because there's federations all across the world now where the average person is not going to ever compete in the IPF world. It's like a 1% thing.
Well, and
that's
how many
ever gonna
lifters-
get there? So they want to just go to a meet and have fun, especially the women now. There's so many women competing. They want to go have fun and work out with their other women and get their butts and legs tighter, and they have fun, and then they
do
go to a
too.
meet. Yeah,
Well, and how many lifters did the IPF lose when the USAPL split?
yeah.
Well, and that's like why I like strongman. It's like they have U.S. strongman for the fun meets. You have fun, you do crazy shit, local, and then they have their.
But I think the other thing that's I think like you said, like to have fun. I think unsanctioned meets are getting more. Just like I had some people tell me like, hey, if you didn't sanction that strongman, I probably would have done it.
Yep.
Because I don't, which, and I think like I think you and I were talking about it. Strongman's so weird because they don't require special judges. So why can't each person just sign up individually and be like, hey, I want to pay the extra $40 to be sanctioned so I can qualify for nationals,
Yeah.
and let the other person just be like, I just want to lift. And I
As
don't
long
really,
as judging is good, that's all people care about.
and like they don't require a special judge. So it's like I would just let each person pick.
I feel like judging strongman is way easier than judging powerlifting.
Yes.
Like, did they pick it up, or did they
well,
not?
it looked pretty good. I'll give it to him.
Yeah.
You know, you
good
talked
enough.
about judging that
Good effort.
strongman in the crowd. Zach Henson and I were judging at high school meet a couple years back, and man, you want to see some people get mad. There was a girl there. She was a
The
strong,
kids or the parents?
Yes.
the coaches and the parents. This girl, she was super strong, but she squatted, and Zach Henson and I were judging, and we both had her high, and everybody's pumped. She's going for a big number. Crowd's going crazy. Red lights. And then all I hear in the background, what was that for? What was that for? Fuck, parents get rowdy out there. Don't squat high.
Especially the ones that live vicariously through their kids.
Right.
And that's a lot.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
God,
it is.
it's so annoying.
But overall, I mean, I think it gives people something to train for, whether it's strongman or powerlifting.
Yeah, they just didn't want a purpose.
And you hate to see people like we were talking about a friend of ours earlier who hasn't competed for it because if he doesn't have something to train for, he doesn't train. And that's sad too because some people can't, but
They don't love it enough.
yeah.
How's your training going?
It just goes. I work out. I don't really train.
Yeah.
I know you were last year. You were doing a little bit more rep stuff. Yeah.
This year, right now, I just switched to like a Mars bar front squat to see how high I can get it. I want to get up to like 450 or 500 in a Mars bar
I did
with
500
no belt.
on a Mars bar.
Huh?
I did 500 on a Mars
Sounds
bar.
terrible.
No, I'm talking about the front squat.
Yeah, I did.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Prove it.
I swear, Matt spotted me when I did that 500 Mars
wasn't
bar.
there.
Get the fuck out of here.
I think you.
Well, that's what
posted
I
it.
want to. That's what I want to
Yeah.
do now, and I figure.
But you're
I
like
just-
elder, so it's more
Yeah,
impressive.
exactly. I'm 61, and I've had both hips replaced, and it gives me something to shoot for that doesn't hurt.
I like that Mars bar
Yeah.
front squat. It's really comfortable.
Yeah, I'm into the 300s now for a few reps, so it'll get better and better.
Yeah,
but
he's
I don't have any
way
pain.
better than me.
I don't have any pain. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
Right? That's the truth. Like, I just want to do stuff that doesn't.
Yeah.
That Mars bar as the back squat makes you feel so strong because
It's so
halfway,
easy.
because it feels halfway down your back.
Yeah,
Like the ultimate low bar.
Yeah, you're like, I can squat like
Yeah.
a million pounds with this thing.
squat like Goggins with it.
Yeah. It's a cool bar. It's a cool idea. It's something
Well, see,
different.
no matter what kind of squat I do, I still lean forward because I've got legs like a Oompa Loompa, and I got a really long torso, so I'm
got
bending over no
hinge.
matter what. Yeah.
I'm assuming no straight bar because your shoulders anymore.
I'm getting really close to be able to do it again. Then I will.
Oh, wow. I figured you just go to the old safety squat
And
bar.
I'm coming for you.
That's not going to take much.
On you.
You're probably there.
A win's a win.
Yeah. Yeah, you're there.
Safety squat box. Safety squat box. Toe box. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
That's
Low box. Low box.
After when we were out talking with Dave Tate, he was saying him and Louie tried to do it. Well, they weren't going to deadlift. They were just going to do safety squat bar to a low box
Yes.
for a whole training cycle. So a couple weeks after that, I came back and did safety squats to like a 10-inch box. That is it's down there. And it's not
That's
great.
really far.
Especially for old guys, they didn't know what depth was.
Yeah,
That's-
and a close stance at that.
That's like that pendulum squat.
That pendulum
Like
squat is meant
Oh,
to
gnarly.
fuck that thing.
Dude,
it's meant to take people's souls.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
gnarly. Put a 45 on there. I'm like,
Oh.
what the fuck?
I saw a kid with like
Yeah.
2 plates on each side. And I was like, God, man. And then I saw he's like doing half squats. I was like, oh, no shit.
Yeah, no. If
Help.
you do that machine the way it was intended, it is the most humbling, soul
Yeah, it's almost like
crushing
a sissy squat when you do
word.
it like that.
I don't know.
The one I got, like, I didn't get like an Elite Fitness one that can handle 1 million pounds, but it's rated for like 800. I was like, if anyone,
If anyone gets close to 800, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Get after it.
then you must, if they squat 800 on that, they have to squat 2,000 with a straight bar.
No shit.
Yeah. And what's crazy is you see that, was that around when you were training, like in your day,
What?
that pendulum squat?
No.
It's just crazy where, how does someone just come up with that shit out of nowhere?
The first time I saw it was a bunch of years back, and Stan Effert and I were doing something in Switzerland, and I saw it there. And I tried. I was like, I don't like the way this feels on my knees.
Now, the platform changes angles, which I think helps some of that. You can change the angle of it. But it's just weird how, like, that stuff, what makes people come up, you know what I mean? Like, it's just weird. It's great. I mean, it's cool stuff like that.
Yeah, if you want to burn out your quads, it doesn't take much weight to do so.
Fuck no.
No, I think we did like a plate and a quarter on each side, and I was like, that is enough.
That's real.
That's it.
Yeah.
So that can be a challenge.
Uh huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, seeing some of those cool pieces come across are always kind of interesting. But
You try one of those plyo jumps or plyo
the plyo swing?
plyo swing. That's the
It's-
strange.
When you were training, like when you were getting, was all of your, was it squat, bench, deadlift all the time, or did you use different bars, or did you do?
I didn't use
you
different
said,
bars.
I know you said that you went high bar in off season.
High bar close stance in off season.
Yeah.
And during season, after my regular squats, it would just be pause squats. But I'd also off season would be a deficit deadlift or deficit stiff legs for 10 or 12 weeks.
But you didn't like switch, like you weren't doing safety bar Mars, like you weren't using.
And then you tapered your accessories along with your reps, right?
Yeah, like my reps on any heavy compound movement would match my heavy squat, bench, and deadlift. Would be the same rep scheme. If I did close grips and inclines, if I did shoulder presses, they'd all follow the same rep scheme as my bench. Same with like bent rows or pause squats or.
And then what were your reps like on like tricep extension? If you're doing something like that, like another accessory like that, like,
usually like 8 to 10 at the most.
but you still kept those somewhat heavy though.
Yeah, because the risk benefit ratio starts to change with certain exercise where you go so heavy and pop goes the weasel.
Now, did you do any like 15s and 20s? Like, is this blood flow stuff or anything or no?
No.
That's called
Maybe like
cardio.
if it was back delts or calves.
Ooh, okay, no.
Yeah, because I see all the USAPL guys. Oh, they're always doing the same things, and I'm like, look at all these bars you could be using. Like,
Yeah. A lot of things with the high volume guys and the high, as far as they're doing so many squats and benches and deadlifts in the same week, is they don't do enough subsistence exercise, and a lot of guys get really strong fast and then they burn out because their weaknesses start getting too close to their strengths, and all of a sudden that gap has changed. Right away it's okay, and then all of a sudden after time the weakness gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you break.
yeah, there's a kid in here who's a great squat, great at all the three lifts, super strong, has struggles to do a pull up.
Yeah, that's sad.
But I think you and I have talked about that. That was one thing with Westside Louis really got out there, like accessory work.
Yeah, he came up with all the cool accessories, and he was the first one, I think, that really emphasized a right training cycle is how to do it, as have a plan.
Now, if those bars would have been available, would you have used them, or you were so it
No,
worked?
they were available. I never used them. If I was
Dummy.
if you're making progress,
Well, yeah.
don't listen to anybody, even the guys that are great. If you're making progress, you're doing something cool that works for you.
But you never thought I'm going to put my toes in the safety squat bar in the water and just see
No.
if it can make me even stronger.
I don't think it would have.
Don't risk
Think
it.
about how good you could have been.
Oh yeah.
If you just would have used one safety squat bar.
That one time ever that you lost to Mike Bridges, you probably could have beat him.
Yeah, I was 19 years old. Jerk.
Whatever, man.
Yeah.
I'll win some.
I missed weight at 165 by a pound.
I know. And then you pulled 727.
Then like 2 hours later, I had to weigh in for 181s again, and I was already 178. That's how much. That's like in 2 hours, I gained 12 pounds.
Is that when you pulled 727?
I pulled 727 at 19 years old.
That's also going to be the weight for the Cohen's wheel for the heavyweights tomorrow.
Good luck.
Yep.
I benched 429. That was raw that day, and I squatted 699 3/4.
And they had to lift the bar out to you and set it on your back?
No, that was my very first meet only. It took me 3 tries to get 485.
Oh, man.
Yep.
The stories can go forever.
There are a lot of stories. Cool stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff that I can't say.
True.
Only on here.
Yes.
So your first meet, they had to lift the bar out to you. So you have two guys holding 485 pounds trying
Yep.
to set it on
And they
your
had
back.
to set it on my back.
Yeah.
I missed the first 2, then I smoked the last one. Then I benched like 295 that day and deadlifted 485 or something, or 495.
How old were you?
16, I was a very light 165er. My squat was a complete, I'd bury it by this much, and then it was all good morning all the way up.
So what was what'd you miss on the first 2 times?
The 485.
I know,
It's because they kind of, you get it, and then all of a sudden it shocks you down, and you got to try to set up with it, and I missed the first 2.
Yeah.
It's probably hard to set up when somebody's just holding it, and they're probably not holding it that great.
No, and then they might let it go at different times.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably not great to be the 2 spotters trying to hold the 4.
Oh, I'm sure it was hard for them,
This
but
fucking guy.
I suffered.
Yeah. But I'm excited for tomorrow. I think it's going to be good.
I think it's going to be great.
It's gonna be fucking cool.
It's going to be great. It's going to be a cool meet.
We always have great judges. The meets run properly. You have great help back there.
It'll be fast. And,
Yep.
everybody that missed it this year, there's always next year.
There's always another year.
It's always another year.
Probably.
You guys got anything else?
No.
All right, man. It's always
They
a good
were
time.
supposed to be the ones with all the questions and have fun. And look at,
Well, Matt GPT
So,
over here.
so,
yeah.
so.
Well, he
Yeah.
had he used all his questions with his girlfriend earlier on.
Yeah,
Matt
that's true.
on GPT. But, we always appreciate you coming on. It's always a good time. It's always good stories.
Make it easy.
Yeah. But like, subscribe, share, follow. We appreciate you guys listening. We'll see you next time.